Good Wednesday evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Whip Finish Wednesday, where you're stuck with me, John, and my beautiful wife, Katie, over on the other side of the screen as we're tying up some flies for you, hopefully with you, and hopefully encouraging you all to tie up a fly or two on your own. Let's get going on Instagram. So hopefully people will shoot over to YouTube and be able to chat a little bit. Hello, Bill, Freddie, and Irish FF. Irish, I hope you got the email with the gift certificate last week. If you didn't, let us know. This week is a fly that I've been really looking forward to tying for the past 3 or 4 months, or actually maybe the past 6 months. We'll have to ask Colby when we went fishing together. And I knew as soon as I saw this one, this fly was right up my alley. But before we get into the Caribou Caddis, I just wanted to thank everyone so much for submitting your. Thank you, Al, uh, for submitting your pictures of the Guy's Choice Hare's Ear last week, and your variations of the Guy's Choice Hare's Ear. And one of the things that we do when y'all are tying, if you all will totally tongue twisted now. How's it go, Katie? If you'll email us the pictures, or you tag the most fly fishing on your posts on Instagram, we're able to see them
and picture.
Yeah, on the picture itself.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to see them and show them like Katie's getting ready to do. And we got a bunch of pictures. But here's the catch: do the best you can. If I'm using a specific material like this week we're going to use caribou. If you don't have caribou, but you've got deer, hey, do a caribou caddis with deer, and that's okay. Use what you got. We love it if you order some stuff, but use what you have. Our goal is to get everyone tying and to see what you all whip up. So, what's up, Sergeant Bass Fisher? Good seeing you this weekend. Hello, Terry, Mike, and Al. So, with that said, Katie, do you want to show some pictures real quick before we get started?
I would love to show some pictures before we get started. If everybody would like to see some,
Absolutely.
I'd love to show them. So let's do it. We have Ken Brooks Hare's Ear. These are all versions that you guys posted on Instagram, and you tagged us in your photo, or you emailed it to us at demuthflyfishing@gmail.com. Thank you guys for sending us your pics. And this is from Down Under, Ken Brooks Aussie version of his Hare's Ear, God's Choice Hare's Ear. And then we have this one we pulled off Instagram. CO21 Bob's versions.
That's Al Kenton.
That's Al. And I think I have another one of Al's on here as well somewhere. So hopefully that'll pop up here in a second. Then we have a couple of beautiful shots with that really nice looking bead. I think that might be like I don't know. Is that like kind of a coppery gold color? It's not really copper, but
it looked more red on my phone, but I can't remember. It was a pretty fancy bead.
And we have Dave Hall with his trio, and another beautiful picture from Freddie with a very lovely red collar on that one. And Josh Riskin sent a couple of two versions there with the two different colors of hackle. And of course, you can't go wrong with purple. Skipped right over. This is Jelson's duo, and Ryan pulled that off of his reel. So check that one out. Ryan 999.
Ryan.
And then we got Steve Yates sent us a couple, and this is the one that I ended up putting on there. I thought it looked great.
That one does look really cool.
And finally, we have Tim Vetter 3 version, and another cool looking bead there with some on the tips of the bead. So all good. Again, guys, thanks so much for sharing those with us. I love seeing your flies that you tied. And do you want me to talk really quick about what we're going to give away next week, or do you want to wait?
Sure.
So today, while we tie, we're going to be using a really cool tool from Hairline. It's called the dubbing rake, and last week we used it. We're going to be using it again this week. And I have one right here. It is the ceramic zirconia dubbing rake, and I've heard of ceramic, I've heard of zirconia. I've never heard of ceramic zirconia, but that's the material of the dubbing rake. It's not too heavy, but it's pretty substantial. But it must be just the right material for raking the dubbing. And the description on the back says, designed to rake under fur and cut guard hair at the same time. Depending on the angle of the rake, you can increase or decrease the amount of under fur or guard hair that it accumulates. So check this out if you haven't seen these, and we're going to be giving away one of these next week. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for your pictures, guys.
And if you can hear a young lady in the background yelping, Misha is not very happy. So, James, hopefully the audio will get a little bit better now. And hello, Josh. And if you notice, Josh and Kevin's name is a different color. And big thank you to them. We did start a members thing that I think it's $3.99 a month. Is a supporter tab, and that just helps us. For instance, this that dubbing rake costs us about $9 to ship. Not too big a deal, but we've been shipping stuff for 5 years. But that helps support us. But also, we're going to do one that's $8.99 a month, and once we get those, get enough of those, then we'll start going live every now and then with just the members of that little group. So, and there you go, Steve. Looks like he did. He had some zirconium encrusted tweezers. Nice. So we appreciate everyone who supports us. That just means the world to us. So the Katie's letting the dog out, so I'll tell a story real quick on this Caribou Caddis. So in my hands right now is the first one I'm going to show. I was fishing the green with Colby Crossland this past spring. No, it was after IFTD, so it was this past fall. So towards the end of the season, and it was seriously probably one of the best trips I've ever been on. Unfortunately, Katie wasn't able to go because she was there, but she spent too much time at the airport and then a fly fishing show and picked up the crud, and so she sat in the cabin for about a week, and it was terrible. But Colby was phenomenal. If you ever get a chance to get within about 4 hours, 5 hours of Dutch John, Utah, and you can fish the Green River, give Spinnerfall a call. I can't recommend them enough. It was really good. What's up, Chris? So we were throwing big dries, and just as a Allie, if you click join, I believe below the screen, below the video is a button that says join. Click join, and it's got the options there. But when I met up with Colby, I was like, what kind of what are we going to look like today? And he said, well, probably average will be 16 to 18 or 16 to 19 inches. Mostly browns. Will catch some rainbows. I was like, that sounds good. Heard that before. Probably catch 2 or 3 in that range and a bunch smaller. And that whole trip caught more fish than I can remember, than I can count. They were all between 17 and 19 inches, except one might have been like 15, and one was about 22, 24. It was big. So it was a phenomenal trip. And they were just about all on big fat dries, just big attractor dries. And maybe I can get Colby to share 1 or 2 of his preferred big attractor dries. But when it kind of, hey, Patrick Truman and Mike Phillips, good seeing you this weekend, Mike, and you, Truman. So we were fishing, and the what's up, North Carolina Fly 5? Yes, the green in Utah. So we're fishing, and the bite kind of slowed down a little bit. And Colby tied on this little size. I'm gonna tie it in size 18. Size 18 Caribou Caddis behind like a size 10 big uh, a tractor dry, like a chubby or something. And so really small little guy behind it. And I caught a fish on the point fly, the main fly. And as I was pulling it in, I looked down in the water and I could see another one. And I was pulling in about an 18-inch fish, good sized fish. There's a bigger one behind it. And I was like, holy cow. And Kobe and I both thought at first, because we've all pulled in small fish and had a bigger fish coming up chasing it. And we thought that's what it was at first. I was like, good grief, that what's up, Chattooga? And okay. But we thought that the fish was chasing. And it didn't take long before we realized, and this is the fly. Okay, we switch over to the hook itself. So as you can see, there's what happened. That it was probably about 20-inch, 22-inch, but this was the second fly behind the big dropper. He had bit that, or she had bit this this fly, and it looked like it was chasing at first, but I just had both of them hooked. I just have never had two almost 40 inches of fish on a line at one time. And so it been out. We got it back in, and we started looking at it like, holy cow. So I brought that one home. So this was the fly that Colby and I fished. So when we got done, I said, Colby, if you don't mind, I'd like to get one of your magic sauce flies. And this is it. This was his magic sauce that he put on there. So pretty cool. And I didn't realize that Matt Grobert had done a video on this one. So I got this one and the other one, try to figure out best I could on how to tie this fly. Thank you, Truman. Get on the welcoming committee. What's up, Gary? So that we've shown the one that was eaten. This one's brand new. And here's one that I tied that we posted today. Right here. So it's going to look very similar, but it's going to be a little bit buggier, but very, very similar. So we've got, it is all, and I was happy when I saw Matt Grobert tie his, because he and I, even though I didn't cheat, I didn't watch him tie it first, because I didn't know it was there. Trust me, I would have. But they're very similar in the techniques. So we've got hare's mask for the body and the abdomen and the thorax. And then we've got I've got a little Zelon on the underwing and the Caribou on the front or on the wing. And this is just picked out hare's mask. So what makes the best picky hare's mask dubbing? That's when you farm it yourself. Like I said, we started this last week, and we're going to keep on doing it this week. So that is my quick. You'll have to help me find it one day. Can't find it, but we'll join. Okay, Al, I will help you for sure. Thank you. Steve can probably tell you, because he looks like he just now did it. But and I need to find out so I can tell you better. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tie this thing up in a few different variations. I know for me, and we did this, I think, last winter, early spring, we tied some little small black winter stone flies, little black caddises. I thought that, and we'll probably tie this in a black variation. It'll be a good alternative as well. Can everyone hear me okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off with an Arex Freshwater 501 in a size 18. So here's the hook itself, Arex Freshwater 501, size 18. And we'll probably go smaller than that for another one. But this is a small caddis. This is not like a big fat, we're going to throw a bunch of hackle on it. We're going to do, that's kind of the magic on it. James, you can hear fine? Good. I'm glad that that got all worked out. And we're going to try a different angle of our third or fourth camera as well. We use olive dun thread, but I was thinking of using tan, but just, I don't know if the thread color really matters that much. I guess it does somewhat, but We'll start my thread about the 1/4 or 3/4 mark, depending on where you're measuring it from. I'll start it, and I'm just going to get a nice little thread base down to right about there. Now we'll kind of April spiral wraps, get it back to the front. Simple enough. So this one we're going to do an olive body with a natural thorax. So we'll switch over to the side view. We'll see if this will work. So we've got our olive hairs mask here, and I'm going to take my dubbing right here, hold it upside down, so I'm kind of going with the thing. And let me think. Okay, so this one's going to be kind of a tighter noodle, not super tight, but tighter, but I want some of this kind of fluffier dubbing. So I'm going to take this and just kind of, I'm trying to hold it up so you can see. So I'm just using this rake, pulling this out and getting some out. I'm going to set down on my pad here. Then we'll go right in between the eyes right here to get a little bit of dubbing. This is actually a lot harder. It's a lot easier to put it just on the your desk. Okay, so that's plenty. So this is what I have now to do my dubbing with, and that's probably enough for 2 or 3. Yeah, maybe 2. Virgin cream dryer today. Water. Oh, that's nice. We tied before. It was a good Mike. I think if you can tie this one in a black, and I haven't done one yet in black. I think we'll do one tonight in black. I think it'll be a good one because it's just an easy tie, and it's durable. But dude, it's so darn easy. Like, it's no big deal. Just whip it up in whatever color you want. This the Caribou is a very done-y color. All right, so I'm gonna do a trick. You can see my dubbing noodle kind of tight, right? So you can see that right there. I'm just gonna get a little bit of some ice dub, sparkle dub, whatever. See that little bit there? I'm just gonna loosely dub that around. Just pull it out. And I'm not saying that I'm 100% making this up, but I don't know if I've seen someone do this, just like a loose dub on top. So we're not mixing anything, but I'm just pushing the dubbing together. So we're not mixing it. I'm just, see how now it's kind of like got a sparkle to it. Hey, I like that angle right there. That's good. So what I'm going for is on the one that I got from Colby. Switch it back to the hook here. Okay, you got it. See that little bit of sparkle in the dubbing? That little bit. I thought it might be a rib at first, but it was just like a random sparkle in there. So I'm going to bring my thread back. So my dubbing starts at the rear. Probably could have built up a couple more. And remember, it's a caddis, so I'm not saying it's going to be fat, but it's not like a real thin, super thin mayfly. That's plenty right there. Pull that off. Make sure we got enough for our head there. Pull this off. Okay, so it looks kind of messy now. So I'm going to pull all this up, cut it off. Now I've got a nice little sparkly, freshly dubbed or freshly harvested. Zoom in right here for you guys. There. Okay. So for the underwing, because the one Colby gave me has an underwing, and thank goodness Matt Grover's has an underwing too. I'm going to use a little Zelon. Zelon's what we've been using a lot of. It was just kind of what was on my desk. Pull this around. And this is half of a strand of the Zelon. Just like that. Did I see that Gary is here?
Yes.
Man, he is early. He's like, it's late for me to be, or it's too early for me to start banging these out too quick. All right, so you can see that's just like a little light underwing. You can brush it out, make it a little fancier, but that's it. And you see I don't have much room for a head right here. Just a couple eye links, because this is just, remember, I'm looking at here's my original, what I was going by. You see the head's there's not much there. Just enough to cover up the butts. you guys tracking with me? It's been a little while since I've seen a question or a snide remark. We good? All right. So all it is, I cut off a piece of my caribou, and I'm using this Nature Spirit caribou and natural. Oh, there we go. Whatever's there in Zelon, Antron. So Zelon, there we go. Yeah, perfect, Katie. So here's a Nature Spirit caribou. Here's the little patch I'm using, and it's a real dun color. I'll like the color of it. I like using the Zelon better for when it's more of a dry, and Antron when it's more of like an emerger where it's going to be supposed to be wet. Now, really, is it going to make that much difference? Probably not. They both have got a nice sparkle to them, but if you'll Google it and look them up, um, the Antron is going to soak up water a little bit easier, and the Zelon is going to wick it a little bit easier. But I think you're kind of that's the official answer. But I think really you're just splitting hairs on it. Um, the there's Gary's thing, Antron straight, Zelon's crinkle. So that would tell you that Zelon's going to have a little more uh, take up a little more surface area on the water film and be harder to sink. But um, that's just kind of my 2 cents. I use both. The purpose of the underwing is going to be to add flotation with the caribou. It's also, when you look at underside of it, it's going to be to add that shine, and that's one thing with the Zelon and the Antron, adds that shine. So if you're going to use a different material, make sure it's got like that thing that's going to catch the light, because that's just going to be another little bling, for lack of better words, that the fish are going to see, and hopefully attract the fish. So I'm just stacking and preparing this deer hair or the caribou hair just like normal. And you can see here I've got my tips lined up. Now, one thing I found with the caribou hair is this will be the first time I think ever I have not gotten any broken tips, and I'll show you a trick that I've been using to reduce, but it's never worked where I haven't gotten any. But if I heard that Gatlinburg had to dump all their fish in the river because of the flooding, Chad or Jesse may know more. Huh. Well, that's cool. So I'm going to line up my tips to the back of the hook. So right to the hook bend. Okay. I'm curious how that side doesn't look as good. So just line up the tips like that. So it should go a little bit further, just a touch further than the underwing. And then we'll pinch my tips, and I'm going to pinch my hook. So now let's switch over to the side view, see if this looks even better. Okay, so here's where we've got the whole thing pinched. And I think it was James last week that was asking for help on this. And that's why we switched the camera angle around a little bit. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put 2 wraps in, 1, 2, right on top of each other. Let's get it in focus again. There it is. And I'm going to pull tight. So that's all I've got is 2 wraps, pull tight. And you'll see with my bobbin, when I'm pulling tight and I mess up, Gary gives me a hard time. Can I just use a fine deer? If you can, but I'd probably use deer because it's going to be fine. The tips are going to be fine, just like the thing. But if all you got is elk, like Al said, use elk. But okay, so when you're pulling tight with your thread, if you're at all worried about breaking, pull your bobbin straight. Don't pull like this. That's a big tip. And that's what I was saying. Gary will give me a hard time sometimes because I'm breaking because I'm doing this. But pull tight. And so we got 2 wraps here. Now I'm going to grab, let's switch it over to the side so you can see how it looks now. See how it's looking right there? So we got the nice flare. And I'm going to grab right here and pull up. Pull down. So I tightened up again. That made that flare again. You do this as many times as you want to. And then we'll pull this. So now, let's see how it looks from the other angle now. Okay, so now we've got our mohawk done. So there's no fibers going down. It's just got one little bunch going up. antelope, deer, and elk. I don't know if I've used antelope. But John Christopher was watching me tie these, and he kept saying, he was like, "Is that reindeer?" I'm like, "No, it's close. I've never tied with reindeer, so I'm sure someone has. Probably a normal thing." Um, any more beads? Oh, Al, and your beads. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of this rake, before I forget, because I forgot last time, this dubbing rake. Normally it's $39, and Jay Soccer has them on sale right now for $31. So $31 for this rake. Do I think it's worth it? Man, if you just want to play with dubbing and you want to get the best bang for your buck on ripping dubbing out off of a hide, absolutely. Do you have to have it to do this? No, because you can just grab your face and then just pull it off like that, and then you'll have. See, I didn't get any off that time, but that's exactly what you do: is pull it until you get some off, and then do it that way. But we've got our let's get back to time. So we've got our little head here. I'm gonna pull this down. I'm gonna run my thread right back through what I just did. Okay. So now we're almost done with our fly. Almost. I'm going to get some of the natural. Let's switch back over to the side view. And I want this to be pretty pretty spiky. Okay, do we switch it back over to the side view, please? I want this to be pretty spiky. So as opposed to pulling from where the mask area, remember hair's the ear. So we're going to go for the ear. So I'm just going to grab it and pull it down. Now this, I'll probably get some more of the skin on, like little bits of stuff, and that's okay. See all this that I got? That is plenty. I'm going to set this on my little mat here. Move this aside. And yes, perfect, Katie. I'm going to pull, I'm going to straighten out my thread, and I'm going to make a split thread dubbing loop. Now, if you want, do a regular dubbing loop with your thread, like not the split thread. I'm drawing a blank, whatever a normal loop's called. Do that. There we go. So that's what I've got right there. It's probably, I'll pull up my thing. It's an inch. I like being able to have this measuring here because y'all can be like, "Hey, will you measure that? Tell me the length." It's an inch. Coastal brown is amazing for wings as well as use rabbit's feet. If you're I was slow on the draw, Steve, how'd you become a paid supporter? Can't find the option. Yeah, Steve, give a
there's order. I think that there's like at the bottom of the chat, there's some options there, like some little pictures.
Okay. Okay, so we got this here. You'll notice when I twist up my bobbin, so you can see I'm just twisting. The dubbing is going to start spinning. Once it starts spinning, then I probably have enough. Now, like I said, I'm going to lose some of it. See, it's kind of going a little bit, and I'm going to let go, spin it. Let me get this so you can see all of it. So here's you see my tip of my bobbin. I'm going to grab my thread and slide forward. See how it's going more tighter and tighter and tighter. Now I roll it up, just like this. Okay. Makes sense. I like how you can see that a lot better than that angle. So now I'm going to bring my thread back up to where it starts, right behind, right in front of this wing, put a couple loose wraps. I'll start pulling this back. And all I'm trying to do right now is just keep make sure my eye stays nice and clear. So because I just super sticker, yeah, don't do the super stickers. See a join button with Duluth fly fishing. There should be a join button. That's exactly what I was talking about. Under the video, there's a button that says join. If you click join, then it should bring up the two options. It should. And Al, I appreciate it again. All right, now we're going to whip finish them. We're going to clean this thing up just a little bit. We'll show you the difference of what we just did. honey, we're only 1,100 and some odd dollars away from our new Orvis H4.
They just came out today.
I know. All right, so we've got that thing done. We're just going to take some Velcro. I'm going to brush this out. Totally unnecessary step, but I like to brush it out a little bit, just make sure everything's not trapped too much. See how that's kind of pretty? Now, just so it will sit right, or sit a little bit better, I won't say right. I'm going to take my scissors, and right here, this is almost like a hackle. I'll cut that off. There's going to be plenty of bugginess on here. See, that'll make it sit a little bit lower. And we've got that done. So we've got a little bit of sparkle. We got a little flash. We got that nice little olive body. Phones and windows. That is true. Gary is correct. So you see, very simple, really simple. See how the Caribou folded down. We've got a nice underwing here. We've got that little bit of sparkle in the rabbit dubbing. So that's pretty cool. So let's do another simple one, and I'm watching iPhone and Xbox. I think Gary might have it figured out. It might be just different depending on when I looked. I was on my computer trying to figure out the difference between the two levels of membership. So Josh, what we're going to do, we just launched the membership thing, and once we get enough, and when I say enough, like maybe 10 or 15 people on the promoter, then at least once a month we'll go live, and it'll be just with the people that are the promoters, and then like we'll be able to chat, and you can help me come up with what we're going to tie next, or I can do more one-on-one stuff, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's put another one in. We'll do the same size. So we're going to do another Arex Freshwater 501 size 18. Then the last one, maybe we'll do a 20, but switch hooks. But I'm going to switch up a main material here. So we'll start about the quarter mark or 75% mark. Pop that off. Bring it back up. And this time, as opposed to going through the masks, let's just show the difference. And this is really good dubbing. We're going to use the Hare's Mask dubbing from Nature Spirit, just natural Hare's Mask. And let's start off with olive, just regular old olive. Pull this out. Maybe. There we go. Now this Hare's Mask dubbing already has Antron built into it, so you can see it's got a little bit of sparkle, so we don't need to do that. I'm going to do anything with this. Pull that out. I'm doing a relatively tight noodle. That's one of Matt's. Yep. Yeah, John. I didn't know that this is one of his patterns. Or is it one of his patterns or one that he likes to tie? Because I couldn't figure out who tied it. But when Colby, you'll have to go back and watch the beginning of it to hear my story, John. But when Colby showed me this and it worked so much, I came home and I obviously did not do enough research on how to tie it, because I went in and just took the ones that I had and figured it out myself. And I was like, well, that works pretty good. And then I saw that Matt had tied it on Tightline Productions with Tim Flagler. And I was like, oh, well, his is kind of like, it's very similar to the way I did it. So I was happy. So his is, I know he uses tight needle using hare's ear. I'll tell you in just a second. So he uses less dubbing. I know on the front, he uses touch dub. He's a big touch dub fan. And not that I'm not, but I'm not as much of a touch dub fan as he is. All right. So you can see here is well, that doesn't look near as good. Cut off some of this so it looks better on the camera. How's that look? Yeah, I guess that looks okay. The main menu, main YouTube. It should say membership. Yep. I think. Okay, so James, Kevin, I think it just depends on what device they're watching from. It's the only thing I can think of because I saw that, and that's what I've been trying to say. So dubbing with Hair's Mask. So I will say that this is kind of my trick. You want to switch over to the side? We'll do a quick little dubbing thing. So this is my trick with dubbing, and this works with ice dub, with coarse dub, with light dub, with whatever kind of dubbing. And I know it sounds silly, but when you pull the dubbing out, have it somewhat aligned. So this is a trick that I learned from Cheech years ago, or I don't know how long ago, but having my pulling the dubbing out of the bag so the dubbing's aligned, and he does it so he can put it in a loop and it's lined up. The reason I do it that way is when I've got my dubbing here in my hand, I'll pull out just enough that as much as I want to dub, and then I put it on my finger like this. So I don't know. Okay, so you can see a little bit on my finger, and the dubbing is going this way. It's not going straight up and down. And when I go like this, see how it's wrapped? It wraps around the thread. You want your dubbing to go around the thread, not around itself. You're not trying to make a ball of dubbing. And if you put less dubbing on and twist it and kind of see how I kind of overlapped that and twisted it, and it made a nice little tight noodle. I'm kind of overlapping it, but I'm not putting much on. If I would have tried to put all that on in one bunch, and that was just one like that, and it's on there. If I try to put a whole glob of it on in one bunch, it wouldn't have worked. If I try to put too much on, I'd probably be saying, well, I need to use dubbing wax, or I need to spit on my fingers, or get the thread wet, or whatever. If you'll just lighten up and then try to have the fibers somewhat aligned, so when you twist it, those fibers wrap around the thread. That's my quick little dubbing thing. But you hear everyone say this, and I can't say it true enough. I think Lance is the first one I heard say it. Less is more with dubbing, and that is absolutely true. Absolutely. So we're going to go back to our Zelon. Do a little pinch wrap, pull it back, get it right on top. Make sure I'm going to wrap it back so we've got enough room for our head. Oh. Yeah, it's good. Pull this. Now, when you're cutting Zelon or hey, Todd, what's happening? It was good seeing you over in hot Atlanta. We missed you, Howie, but it was good seeing you, Todd. I've got a few flies from Todd. Todd, shoot me a note. We need to tie one of your flies on here one of these nights. So when you're pulling a crinkle material like the Zelon or the Antron, or sparkle or merger yarn, whatever it is, if I pull this really tight and then cut it, when I get done, that wing's going to be like this long, where my scissors are. So I want it to come to the back of the hook shank, maybe a touch shorter, but just kind of have it loose, and then cut it and see how it'll crinkle up still, but that's the length I want. Whereas if I pulled it tight, it would be, if I pulled it tight, complete a sentence, Sean, it'd be too short. Here we go. All right. So now I'm going to get the same piece of Caribou, and we'll cut off some. Now, like I said, this is a lot of times the Caribou, one of the disadvantages to it is it has a lot more broken tips. So there's just more broken tips in the Caribou than with anything else. So one of the things that I'll do when I go to comb it out is I'll grab it closer to the tips, because like, see how this short one right here, I don't know if you can see this one, that's got a broken tip in it right there. My hand will get out of the way. Yeah, you see that broken tip right there? If I hold it, see, there's a butt ends and there's a tip ends, and see how there's all those broken tips in there? You can't tell which one's which. I'm just trying to hold it a little bit closer to the tip, so I'm combing out more than I would with deer. The reality is a fish not going to eat your fly because it's got a couple broken tips in the hair? Absolutely not. This is just because if I'm looking at 6 flies in my box and one of them looks good and some other ones have got broken tips, I'm probably going to grab the one without the broken tips first, because I guarantee the fly that will gets fished will probably catch. What brush is that, by the way? Brush. You talking about the comb? This is just the CNF comb, and I've just stuck a piece of Velcro on it. Who was it that sent me the note? I forgot to follow up with you. That sent me the note about the hackle pliers. Was that Al, or who was that? Last week, I told you I'd get back with them. I did a lot of research and I found out somewhere to buy them, but I forgot to let you know until I was on the road to Atlanta. So I forgot. Okay, so you can see I've got some minor broken tips, but we'll just leave those in there for now. It'll be okay. I'm not going to let it ruin my night. There we go. Yep, it's the CNF. And I talked to James. Send me another note on Instagram, send me another email, and I'll tell you what I found out. So I'm going to get this to where my tips line up to the back of my hook shank, pinch. Same thing we did a minute ago. 1, 2, pull tight. And the Caribou flares are super, super easy. That's good. It's a much more delicate fiber than deer or elk. Okay. So you can see one of those broken tips is somewhere, but I can spend 5 minutes digging out one silly broken tip, and I'm sure there's other things you all would rather be doing tonight than watching me dig around for a broken tip. Okay. So you see I kind of wrapped over those butt ends just a little bit, or back over to the thing. And I'm not worried about covering everything up. All that junk right there, all those little cut butt ends, I'm not worried about it. But I'm going to do the same thing, but this time, just so you can see a difference, we're going to use the dubbing. I'm not going to harvest the dubbing itself. And we're going to use, where's the natural? Natural. I should have prepared for this a little more. There it is, natural. So I'm going to get just enough natural dubbing out that I think that'll be good. So here it is, came out of the dispenser. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of preen it. So I'm aligning the fibers and getting my little piece. It should be about 1 inch long. Thin it out a little bit. Go and prepare that, because when you get your split loop split, then you have to have one hand in there in the loop holding it open. So you want your material prepared first. Nope, Katie's not asleep. She's watching you all. She's probably happy that she's done. I don't think there's been any disasters. All right, so we got this split. So here's our little piece. So do you want to switch over to the side again? Okay, so we got a little piece here, and I've got my thread split. So I'm just going to put it in like this and cut. Now this is just a personal preference that I like split thread loops. Now, one of the things, if you're just going to tie 1 or 2 and just like in there and be done, then it takes 1 or 2 to figure out that I need roughly, I can get by with like 3/4 of an inch, and I can get by with probably 1.5 inches or so. But if I did a 3-inch noodle, there's no way. And it takes you a couple goes to figure out roughly how much you need. Now, in streamers and other patterns, yes, a traditional dubbing loop is fine. But now I'm spinning my thread. Yes, he did. He barely made it out of the parking lot. I had to I ran out of gas after about 30 minutes, and I had to basically carry him inside to get something to go in, because to go inside, he did great though. And there's about 1 foot of snow. It was I think the high of the drive, temperature-wise, was in the 60s, and the low was 33 at the top of Newfound Gap in the Smokies. About a foot of snow up there still. All right, so now I'm going to, let's switch back to the hook. So I'm going to kind of pull, I'm going to stroke my wing back. See how it is right now? That's the way it looks straight. Straight this back, and I'm just working my thread back so that dubbing starts right there. I'm going to stroke back. I'm not really worried about getting every single thing in there. Like I don't care if I miss out on, I don't care if I trap one or two fibers or half the fibers for that matter. Get that out of there. All right. So now, because I just spun, now that looks a lot messier. Because I just tightened up my thread, I want to make sure I uncord it a bit, make an effort to uncord it, because I sat there and spun it up really tight. If I got to do a whip finish right now, then it's going to, there's a good chance it'll break. Got a nice clear eye. Cut it off. And now let's brush it out. They made this one how I said brush, because, and this is just double-sided Velcro that's stuck on this thing. This is the custom kind. So you can see this one has the Antron built into it, so you do have a lot more sparkle in that. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that, but this is what it looks like with a different product. It's kind of cool. So let's cut out some of this so it'll sit a little better in the water. Let's cut this so it's not quite as shaggy that way. I will say, if I did that again, I would not use the hare's ear with the Antron for the front, because I feel like that's just a little too much. But that looks pretty cool. That still looks different yet neat. Yep, Velcro popsicle stick. We were not in New Jersey. What's up, Adam? No, we weren't in New Jersey. We went to Atlanta, but not New Jersey. All right. So there's that guy. I just want to try that other one, but you don't have to have this dubbing rake and a mask to do this. This is just dubbing out of a box here. But let's do one more quick one. I think I've got time for it. And this time I want to use a size 20 Tiemco SPBL. This is one of Charlie Craven's favorites. Favorites. Get this in there, and I'm going to use the same color thread, because I don't think, unless I've got black loaded up, this is going to be, hey, let's see if it'll work. Now, if you all didn't know, and you're sleeping under a rock, you can email us pictures that you do between now and next Wednesday night to demuthflyfishing@gmail.com, and we'll share them next Wednesday night. You can also tag us in your Instagram photos, but tag us in the photograph. You can tag us in the comment, that's fine. Tag us in the photograph so we can share it. We love seeing your all's work. All right, I am going to use this for the rear, because this is going to be a black Caddis, and I don't have a black hare's mask. Can you believe it? We need to order one. All right, Katie, let's switch it over to the, unless we're frozen up, let's switch it over to that. Is this okay over here?
Mm-hmm. I don't know why that's like that.
Okay.
That's.
Are you getting no comments?
Yeah, over here it's fine.
Okay, well, I will reset my.
Yeah.
If I can find that, let's go back. Oh, there we go. It was demuthflyfishing@gmail.com is the email. Okay. So all I'm doing now is twisting up my black hare's mask Nature Spirit dubbing. I'm not going to put too much of it on because I did last time. And this is a smaller fly. So you see I've got it right here. Bring it back so that dubbing starts. If you have to burn up some thread, burn it up on the front. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, or shall I say thinner. That looks good. You can say this is going to be a small one. And it's kind of funny because I hear this a lot. You don't realize how small that looks much bigger than it is. Use our same Zelon. Do a little pinch wrap. Pull it back. If a little bit pulls out, actually, I'm going to do it like this. Leave it there. I'm going to cut it off. So I feel like when I do that, I can cut a little bit better. And I can, on the smaller flies, I can get a little bit closer and not overlap the eye. So that looks pretty good. Cut it there. What did I go on my show this summer? I can really details. Sure, you can shoot us some. We love going to shows. If we can make it work, well, we'd love to come. Okay, so there's that. Same thing. And then we're going to pull out our Caribou. We'll go as fast as possible. James, I'm using the regular Renomed fly tire supercut straights. These are just the plain ones, and I've been using this same pair, and I ordered another pair 6 months ago, and I've got it sitting here somewhere, and I still haven't broken it out. I've been using this really since Renomed came to this side of the pond for a while. I've been using these for, I don't know, 4 years, 3 years maybe. And I haven't gotten sharpened or anything. Okay. So see how my butt ends are lined up. Same thing, just smaller. So don't want to overshoot the back of that. Pinch. 1, 2, tight. There we go. And I'm going to cut that off. So it's looking okay for a quick little down and dirty. Now I am going to, yeah, it looks good. I'm going to pull out my hair's mask again. You okay over there, honey? You're getting all snoozed on us.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to grab the ear itself. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. So just don't do much. So I grab that. And this is going to be a lot of spike. Let's put it back down.
Looks like it froze up again.
Going to Kelly's Fiskars. Mine or the whole thing?
Yours.
Okay.
Mine's fine. Nothing's freezing up over here. It's just that yours.
Let's share. Well, ask me the questions that people are asking because I can't see them if mine's
That's
frozen
what I was
up.
trying to see where yours was.
Okay. Okay, I got Steve. This fly is right up my alley. It will fit in the rest of the hairballs I tie. Yeah. Mother's very nice pattern. Watch out for Kelly. The Kelly Click. What's the Kelly Click? It's a great workhorse scissors. Dark dun wingtip. Mike, I just have. If I had it, I would. And this Caribou it's more like a light dun or medium dun. So it's not like super, I don't know what the word is, but I just have this one color. I don't know if you can get much dyed marabou or Caribou. Sorry, I keep losing y'all's comments. So if you have something I didn't, Jeff Layer told about the Kelly click. No, it might be my glasses. Kelly Gallant. I bought these glasses from the clicks from Kelly Gallant.
You're caught up over here.
Cool. Okay, give this a little twist. Make sure that needs a little more. When you Kelly goes to release his click glasses, hit fast forward. Yeah. Okay, hopefully that's good like that. All right, now we're going to take that little bit of bare thread and just kind of get rid of it by working around. Now we're going to oh, that's not good. There we go. So we got that. I'm going to untwist it. When he clicks his glasses, he's going to talk. I've kind of, maybe it's bad, but I just somewhat leave mine on most of the time. How much? That's what you asked, James. Probably half a pencil, more than you think, because like I said, I'm pulling out more dubbing or more waist hair than I do with deer, so probably half. Let's dig this out. So this will be a black one. Then I picked out my thing, I think. I'll cut it out. So this would be a black one. I wish I had a black hairs mask. That would make it much better. And I don't care how fancy or sharp or dull your scissors are. If you can't find them, they're not worth much. Cut that thread out of there. Let's even this bottom up. And so there we go. Something like that. And probably, I don't know how that front worked out. I might have just dug all that out. Maybe I should have put some Sally Hansen's on there before I gave it the Velcro heck. But you get the idea. I think that one turned out okay. I'm not a big fan of the colors, but I do feel like this one that we tied turned out pretty darn. I think this is one we tied. That one turned out pretty darn good. Marker on your mask. Yep. All right. Well, Katie.
Yes.
And everyone on Instagram, thank you for watching. Come over on YouTube if you can. So we really appreciate you guys watching. Next week, we might do a fancy one. We had Freddie's Flies asked me to do something that we did about 3-4 years ago on the show with mallard feathers. So we might do that next week, or we might do something else.
I mean, you have to do like something Valentine's Day.
Well, I did do one with that mallard feather technique for Valentine's Day one time.
But I'm just saying that I think it might be.
Is that on Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day next Wednesday. Just think it
putting
might
some
be.
on top.
You ought to check your calendar and
with
see.
Bad eyes. Yeah, you definitely could, James. These are pretty small, but you could put like a little before I tied in that front, before I tied in the last piece of rabbit, sorry. Before I tied in the last piece of rabbit, you could tie in like a little parachute post material on top of that wing, and that would be fine. Yeah, we will do a Valentine's Day one.
So I guess I'm not going to be taken out on a date on Valentine's Day.
Well, we could do like a Whip Finish Wednesday. We could get Beargrass Leather to give you a wallet. When I say give you, I mean I could order a wallet from Beargrass Leather, and they could send it and have it shipped here. Yeah, big old red, white, and pike fly. Taking Valentine's off, celebrate anniversary. We'll go for it, James. Oh, nice. Oh, well, Steve. Won't let that work. All right. Well, guys, you guys are awesome. We love Katie. No, she's not impressed at all. Ken, you made it through the whole night.
He did. I think he must have an off night because he's still here.
I saw you said something earlier. I didn't reply. I'm sorry, Ken. But guys, seeing girls' pictures, your comments are coming through right now. really gets me excited. I know Katie likes seeing your pictures throughout the week as well.
I do. It's fun.
And yes, that's right, lunch date. That's what Valentine's Whip Fish Wednesdays for, are lunch dates. Um,
That sounds fine.
but we really appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, let us know. If you need help finding anything, let us know that as well. We will be back live next Wednesday night, normal time, unless something crazy happens. So, other than that, I'll turn it over to Katie to say goodbye. Thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate it.
Bye, everybody. You have a great weekend and happy tying. And send me some pictures. And thanks for watching. Bye. See ya.